It's Thursday, the 9th of September, and it's 10 o'clock at night. And as I've explained, in a modern day society and a democracy, I'm experiencing inhabitable conditions, and there have been threats to society, endangering the larger community and obstructing the course of justice and basically disturbing the peace. Now, as I've mentioned, due to my role in the legislation that's been happening in this country and due to the new foundations that were laid and jeopardised as a consequence of these liabilities in society, the new foundations that I laid for this country in 2018 have been severely compromised by the individuals that are of threats to society. So, as everyone is aware, there are special conditions for individuals that have been of legislation and of humanitarianism in any modern state of a democratic constitution. And the issue of individuals that are representatives of repeat offenders, such as any agencies that have previously trespassed onto my private properties or that have unlawfully detained me on behalf of those of property theft, financial theft, and identity theft, are out of bounds, basically. So, as a humanitarian and as I'm of royal patronage, there's also the issue of the relevant bodies of the democracy to ensure that my safety is highly prioritised, and this has not happened. So there's a lot of problems going on in Tralee, County Kerry. There's been a lot of controversy caused as well, a lot of silly nonsense that is quite serious and quite offensive. And there's a very serious issue with threats to society by individuals that have short memories of developments since 2018 and that are representatives of offences that have already occurred. So this would be a huge issue for civil society principles to recognise that they are not present in this community. The objective of civil society is that all human beings, all citizens, civilians, live in harmonious conditions with their human rights respected. Now, as a married woman, I've been imposed upon by healthcare providers that have slandered my health and well-being. They've caused violations to freedom, and they have disrupted the peace and distorted information. Now, in the current abode where I am, the local authorities, the local politicians of the agencies that would be notably responsible for safeguarding my abode environment and such have not done anything constructive due to the culprits that are obstructing the course of justice and that have harmed my child also since 2017. So there's about to be further offences caused in Tralee, County Kerry. So I'm wondering what the guards are doing to respect the protection entitlements that I am automatically entitled to, and to safeguard my personal identity, my simple little pieces of identity that individuals are jeopardizing with repeat offences. So this is showing that there's been a huge failing in Irish society. A child has been harmed, and a married mother has been experiencing denigration, deprivation, defamation, and disrespect. And the new foundations I laid for this country in 2018 single-handedly are being disrespected. So that's quite serious. And it's due to those that are jeopardising, yet again, the credibility and reputation of this country. So those that don't have respect for protection, procedure, proximity, protocol, those kind of concepts are really endangering the larger community due to the nature of my role in society and my accomplishments and achievements in society. And that's just the simple fact of the matter. So there's a lot to be said for accountability and the responsibility of the relevant agencies and authorities to hold those accountable that have, stepped over the line. those that keep me up at night, those coming in and out of a building, those without respect for the peace, those withholding information and interfering with my correspondence, those with objectives to steal my identity, those trespassing on my properties and imposing upon my marriage, those spiraling notions and tales of individuals with imaginations that are quite serious, not helpful at all really to progress, really are a liability to the greater community, the larger community. It's really serious because of or due to the nature of my role. I'm a sacred royal, and there's a lot of individuals that have been quite silly with their practices and with their acquisitions. And people are affected with these kind of matters and by these kind of matters. So it's really irresponsible, as I keep mentioning, that I'm in the uninhabitable conditions that I shouldn't be experiencing simply due to people of imposter syndrome, which is a mental health illness. So there's individuals that I'm aware of that are suffering from this mental illness, and I've concerns for the Mental Health Commission with regard to their role and the big responsibility that they have to safeguard sanity and sobriety from people that are of imposter syndrome and a neurosis and an obsession of the mind to be so preoccupied with my property and my privacy and my personal information. They have been very destructive and they've caused very dangerous harm to my child, and I'm really concerned about how they conceive such notions of destruction and distortion and disinformation. It's really not helpful. So I'd appreciate the intelligent human beings that aren't of conspiracy and controversy and that might have a little bit of common sense to look chronologically at the paperwork rather than trying to steal from my paperwork, because I'm fully aware of the identity theft that's occurring due to my royal lineage. So I'd appreciate the guards and the government acknowledging where their obligation is, and sanity sobriety agencies and organisations throughout the world. I'm hoping you're able to identify with what level of insanity I'm experiencing with people that like depending on a few tall tales or twisted tales, because that's what's happening. There's a very serious issue in Tralee, County Kerry, of people with vivid imaginations and dirty tongues. So there's a lot of slander, and the foundations I laid for the democracy in 2018 are being disrespected by those that are of identity theft, professional theft, financial theft, property theft, etc. So I'd appreciate the guards and the government that I've contacted since 2017 addressing the liabilities that are risking other people's lives with their irresponsible behaviours immediately.